What is a common inaccuracy many movies make? Enhance the image. Hanging up the phone at the end of a sentence. Without saying goodbye. Always picture the other person on the line being clueless. Head trauma. Knocked out isn't the same as taking a nap. People flying backwards after being shot. It isn't loaded, taken as if it isn't a for real firearm he's waving around and should be 100% sure it's not going to hit anyone if it did go off. Rule No. 1 of firearm safety. Always treat every firearm as if it is loaded and ready to fire. Unless the firing chamber is open. And you can see that it isn't. Do not rely on the safety or hearsay, even from a trusted individual. The risk isn't worth it. When making plans, people specify dates, times, and logistics. Grenades only causes people to feel the shockwave of the explosion. It never shows people getting hit by the shrapnels. Saying we only use 10% of our brains. We actually use 11%. Injuries. If you ever seen real ones, you know all the movie ones look fake. They aren't even trying. Gun suppressors don't made a pistol sound like a blowgun. I'm a military wife and there's a rule in my house. No comments on military on screens. My God, it's always something. My husband actually acts like they can hear him. It used to be funny but now it's not. Take your hat off, you're inside. You're too young for those patches. You're outside, put your hat back on. That's not how you hold that gun, you'll blow your feet off. That's not even the right rank. Every single time. I'm half joking about it being annoying, but it's wrong enough for my husband to comment a ton. The dial tone after the other person hangs up on mobile phones. Tom Scott explained that the receiving end in Hollywood's area actually would hear a dial tone if the other person hung up first on the old landlines. Because their phone system was unique. But cell phones do and did no such thing. Interrogations. From what I've seen of some actual interrogations, you get more information if you're nice and calm to the person. Surpressors on guns don't make the gun completely silent. CPR. You are not getting up right away. The cold will fuck you up. Featured music doesn't match timeline in movie. For instance, character listening to a song from 1986 during a scene taking place in 1985. Wounds. It can take months for a couple centimeter wood to heal. Also severity. It's a Good Day to Die Hard. Bruce Willis shoots the bad guy through his own wound in his shoulder. They pack him with bandages and he leaves. Realistically, he would have been in surgery to close the wound. In older movies anyway. A semi-bad guy who wants out always makes it a point to tell all the major bad guys that he is going to the police, and then proceeds to actually try and do it in the most casual, yeah. Why on earth wouldn't they let me do this way? Basically every car-related noise. Engine sounds not even remotely matching the car seen speeding away being the most egregious. Gun fights indoors with no ear protection and then having quiet conversations immediately after. Hero breaks ribs and suffers head trauma. Runs across town and beats the shit out of 40 dudes. Saving someone from falling off a cliff isn't that easy. Even when they do actually have the action star reload. He reloads so many times he must have been carrying 50+ pounds of ammo on him. Hacking. Someone is injured and dies. Someone else is injured in the same place. The same way. Same degree of injury and lives. The sounds of wheels skidding as an airplane lands. Completely inaudible in reality. They think programming is easy and can be done in seconds. While in real life people spend hours looking at the same piece of code to realize they missed a comma Also, the hero somehow has knowledge about whatever system they are dealing with ahead of time. Like always. Even with zero preparation or any indication of preparation for the given scenarios. It's very fucking ridiculous. But I try to ignore it. I just roll my eyes and think, here we go again. Planes. They'll often show a flight taking off as 747 and landing as a smaller plane like an Airbus A320. This isn't mentioned very often. But people faking their deaths with blanks. Like in GoldenEye. There have been cases of people firing a gun with blanks at their head for a joke and actually killing themselves with it. No. It doesn't fire a bullet. But there is still a small explosion which can cause trauma to the head. It's at the least very dangerous to fake being shot in the head at close range. So I really wonder how pre-CGI movies pulled this off. A few common firearm inaccuracies in movies. It is pretty normal to fire more rounds than the capacity of the magazine in a firearm. Before, if ever, reloading. Firing a gun with a suppressor is not very quiet. Like portrayed in movies. It just isn't nearly as loud as firing a gun without one. Spinning the cylinder of a revolver and flicking your wrist to snap it back in place is actually a good way to damage your firearm. And in real life makes you look like a poser who watches too many cheesy action movies.